Thanks for joining the second of our Innovators events. Natalie has been organizing these. Tonight we have an exceptional French entrepreneur and a baker. I'm a semi-baker. He's now living in Brooklyn, like our others who are all living here, and he's developing his business of Michel and Augustin here in the U.S. Welcome.
Thank you.
One of his many good qualities is he's a young leader of the French American Foundation, but he's built a cookie empire, which he's now distributing through Starbucks. We'll hear about how that's possible. He's expanding the company, and the Starbucks thing is amazing. Félicitations. Well, commercial about the foundation. You probably all know we were created 40 years ago during the bicentennial by Ford and Giscard. We celebrated our 40th anniversary on the 18th of May. Emma was there. We work, and this is part of it, to enrich the transatlantic relationship that we think is essential in our world of today. We try to bring together leaders, policymakers, entrepreneurs, wide range of professionals to exchange their views and share experiences in areas like this one, cooking. Our young leaders include current President of France, whatever some of you may think of him, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and goes on and on. These are both young leaders, Augustin and Emma, who is the daughter-in-law of one of my best friends. Thank you both for being here. I want to get out of the way and turn the discussion over to Emma. Emma is now Senior Director of Marketing Blueprint at the Hain Celestial Group. Whoa!
She's my guru.
15 years of experience in the industry, but the main thing is she's a graduate of the Cordon Bleu.
Yeah, good.
How about that? With that, I'll turn it over to you guys. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So sorry, I pushed. Is that right? Do we need the mics? No. No. Okay, so I have to say this was such an honor because Augustin is an amazing entrepreneur. I actually, Irene connected us even before this whole panel was worked out, and I basically raced to Brooklyn, which was really far for me. And I met him for coffee really early in the morning, and I heard his story, which is just inspirational. So I hope during the course of the evening you can kind of get a sense for what he's done and how much passion he brings to his business. But I'm going to ask a few questions to get us started, and then I'll open it up to the group. So the first thing I just wanted to ask, which I actually don't know the answer, so how did you get the idea for cookies?
It's very simple. When I had the chance when I was a teenager to come here for camps, one of the camps I've done was in Vermont, and I discovered in Vermont something called two guys called Ben and Jerry. I love ice cream. Actually, I'm eating ice cream every day, still nowadays. And I brought back this idea, and after my studies, I worked for Club Med, I worked for Air France, and I set up the first company, the new technology, that I never understood the job, the company, but actually we sold it very well to an American fund, Partech. And after I was like free, and said what I'm going to do in my life, and say, hey guys, I want to bring back taste. And actually I was also a baker. I took some bakery exam and classes and wrote a book. I visited personally the 1,263 bakeries of Paris, so I'm kind of an expert in bread tasting. And the book was a big success in France, and I was free, and said what I'm going to do now in my life. I'm only like 26 years old. I was married at this time. I'm still married with the same wife. I have 2 kids. I have 5 now, and I hope it's going to be just the beginning. And I say what I'm going to do. I started making cookies in my kitchen, and I just wanted high quality ingredients, all natural and supersonic taste. And I called my friend Michel from college. Michel he's very clever, Michel. He's done some amazing studies. He did INSEAD, and he was working for Bain. And I called him and said, God, what about making cookies in my kitchen? So he came and we started making cookies. And we went down my apartment two floors. And we went to the first store called Mini Market, Rue Hermel in Paris, 18th arrondissement, and we sold our first cookies. So the idea was very simple, to bring back taste to our food in the city. And we didn't want to invent a brand, because brand is most of the time kind of like an inventing story. And we said, we're not going to invent a brand, we're just going to share the story, we're going to live in their everyday life, and we're going to share it like in a very easy way, first on the packaging, and after the social media. So this is two very simple things: to taste, high quality ingredient, recipe that you can redo in your home, in your kitchen, and not a brand, just an adventure we're going to share every day.
So I'm glad you mentioned the branding, because that's one of the things that I have to say is unbelievable about Michel and Augustin. The packaging, the detail, even in the bags that you have here today, everything kind of really emulates the brand and creates this really strong story. So through their website and the social media. So the question I have is, so who really created the brand? Was it the two of you? And as your company is grown, how do you really preserve that with, I don't know how many employees you have today, but how do you make sure the message is?
Yeah, well, we're a very small company, and we're only a little bit more than 100 people in 3 banana farm in Paris, and in Brooklyn. And we have one specific thing, that everything is done internally. Everything is done in-house. We never work with agency outside. Never. We have our own TV producer. We have 5 people doing just design and graphic. So everything is internally and homemade, and this is how it works. So I'm not a drawer. So the first job we hired for guys making cookies in their kitchen was a graphic designer. So was the Michel, me, and the third people was a graphic designer. So he was in my apartment in Paris. So everything is done internally. We never work with agency, and if you need something, we hire the talent, and we never subcontract. And what I always said, that what is a company? A company is just the reflect of the women and men who are working for the company. So we pay so much attention to the people we hire, because it's an adventure, and they're all the first characteristic of people working and living this adventure with us is friendly people. So the most specific and most important characteristic, just people nice. So we have a supersonic team now in Paris and here in New York, and I hope you're going to meet them once, and they're just very friendly, very nice, very normal people, and they're just passionate about their job and about the adventure, and they're just hard worker and very creative also. But we always pay so much attention to the people we hire. It's a mutual choice. We don't hire, we decide together to go for this adventure. So no matter what you're doing, just focus on people. That's the key of our little success. And I'm so proud and so happy to go and to work every day, because people are so nice. They're very friendly. And you know, life is short. I don't want to have pain in my, I just want to enjoy my life. So just choose the people. And if we choose to work with Michel at the beginning, it's because friendship for me and sharing life is something so important. I choose my wife, and I share my life with my wife. So for my professional story, I wanted to share it with my friend. Why not working with friends? It's so cool. So I always work with friends, and all the people working now with Michel Augustin are, in a way, our friend.
And they're all bakers as well.
And they're all pastry chefs. All people working in the adventure are pastry chefs. So every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night in Paris, Lyon, and next September, beginning here in Brooklyn on Monday night. If they're not pastry chef when we hire them, they have to take a class, and they become pastry chefs certified by the French government. And if they're not, they're fired. So as far as that, nobody failed. But actually, even Emily, our personal assistant with Michel or Thibaut, the logistic, everybody, they are or they're on the way to become pastry chef certified.
Pretty cool. So tell us, so the first few years, or first year at least, you were making cookies in the kitchen with Michel. So tell us about kind of those first few years and some of the wins that you had and when you realized that you actually had a business.
We never realized it, and it just took times. It's a small company, 50 million, but in our industry in France, a country 6 times smaller than here. So we just took our time to understand what was going on, and we always do before other people doing the job for us. So at the beginning, for doing the first 3 years, we manufacture ourselves every weekend. We went away from Paris and we were renting a factory, and we were running ourselves the factory every weekend for 3 years. And I was hiring my little brother. He was a student at this time and he's French, so we got up to 30 students running the factory in the weekend and baking cookies. And we brought them back to Paris, 2 hours drive. We were going to my apartment, and then the rest of the week doing door to door. So we changed the model after 3 years because we subcontract, but all the R&Ds internally. We have 6 pastry chef experts who just doing the formula, and now we subcontract to 16 different plants, essentially in France, but also in Portugal, Spain, Netherlands, and Italy. Now, so we are like a French pastry know-how, but like manufactured mostly in France, but also in Europe. So the secret for us is just not to go too fast, and it's exactly what we're doing here. We don't want to go too fast, but we don't spend money on TV, ad. We're just taking the time to understand what's going on and to do step after step. And I don't want to be like a fashionable brand or just having a huge peak. We just want to take our time to understand what's going on, and we'll invest here a large amount of money the second time. So for me, the key of success is really we need time to learn. And we need time, when you learn, to make people do exactly what you want them to do. So it just took time, but what I really think now is the potential of the brand is really amazing, because as we are French, as we are the pastry know-how, as it's not a brand but a real adventure. It's like House of Cards, but for real life. You can go on the web, on the Facebook, every day there's something new, because we're just living something new in the banana farm. So I'm really convinced that the potential is really huge.
And the banana farm is what you call your office?
Right, it's more or less our office, and we're growing banana, but our office, but like open office. We have this pastry the class every week. We also have this conference cycle called Drink a Cow With, and in France we invite, there's many famous people who just come and share with who wants. We're up to 500 people. We had Nicolas Sarkozy, we had Eric Kaiser, we had Macron, and Macron is coming, Xavier Niel, and a lot of people are coming because they're enjoying the time they spend with us. We also have this big event every first Thursday of the month called the Open House of the Banana Farm. So who wants to come? Just sharing ideas, bringing cakes, and testing new recipes that we present them. So it's kind of a little messy environment, but very creative, and people are really enjoying. We have a lot of school coming. The business case of Michel Augustin in France is studying in all school. So we have a lot of students. We'll also have seminar of big company coming for immersion in the banana farm. So it's just a very, very, very simple but very nice office, and very open to the world, because as we always do, we share what we're living, and we try to share our passion.
Well, I was hoping to get some kind of milestones, some times when success hit you in the face a bit, but one thing that I definitely know about is the time that Howard Schultz tasted your product and told you he wanted to carry it in Starbucks. So do you want to tell everyone a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's very, very simple story. As we arrived here in January 2015, we sent Antoine. Antoine just spent 10 years with us. I had an interview with Antoine in my bathroom of my apartment 10 years ago. So after my bathroom, he was an intern for sales rep, but really at the beginning, after he became an employee, after he was head of account for food service and after for export. So when we opened a banana farm here in the US, he took the lead and he came here with his suitcase and no recipe and his wife. So he started making door-to-door here in Manhattan. So we like making direct door delivery service. So we went up to 50 stores. And one day, it was like 1 year ago, we received a call. It was on Thursday night at 6 p.m. from someone from Seattle. Say, hey, I'm a PA of someone, Howard Schultz. Okay, we don't even know who was Howard Schultz at this time. So the PA say, hey, someone pick up your product in your store in Manhattan, and they love it. I called the store to have more stock for like a sampling testing committee. And they were out of stock, so I found the number of the banana farm on the packaging, so can you help us? So Antoine said, yeah, we'll try. So it was a Thursday, 6 p.m. here. He gave me a call. I was in my bed with my wife because it was midnight in Paris. I said, okay, we sent some sample express on Friday, so they'll receive it overnight, and so it's going to be ready for their sampling and testing committee. And I asked Emily to have a look at how much it's going to cost to send express, and she made it wrong, and she told me, it's going to cost like 2,000 euro. So it's kind of a lot of money for like an express delivery of cookies. So what about sending who wants to spend the weekend at Seattle? So we'll bring directly the cookies to the headquarters of Seattle. So we have two people, Charlotte and Hassan, who say, well, nothing planned for the weekend, so we can go. so they went there, and they just, as we do, share the story on the web, on Facebook, and there was a huge buzz in France saying, hey, can we have a coffee with Howard Schultz without any appointment? So it was a big buzz in the web in France, but only in France. And actually, I don't know how, but the wife of Howard Schultz heard the story and the buzz, and say, hey guys, there's two kind of cookie French people coming to Seattle just to meet you with no appointments, and with the supersonic cookies, you can try to meet them. So actually Howard Schultz received Charlotte and Hassan. They spent 1 hour together. Howard Schultz gave me a call personally on my phone. It was like midnight for us in France. So the story went like that. So the next day we announced in the international convention that he was going to launch the cookies in Paris, London, and New York. And we went step after step, chapter after chapter. We started in 25 Starbucks in Manhattan. We moved to 250 old Manhattan, Brooklyn, Indianapolis, and Philadelphia. And chapter 3, we became national last January. So, but Starbucks, I love them. But it's just a cherry on the top of the cake, because you never know what's going to happen with them. So we try also to grow the business, and we have huge news. We're doing very well in Manhattan. We have more than 500 stores, cafeteria companies. We just signed American Airlines today. So things are doing very well. Yeah. So it's step by step, very little, but you take the time with being French and selling French cookies to American people. It sounds silly, but it works as far as I know.
So if anyone is a fan of digital marketing, I really encourage you to go to the website and see this whole Starbucks journey, because the team actually did a great job kind of capturing it, doing little videos saying that they were going to fly all the way from France to Seattle to meet Howard Schultz, and it's very endearing. It's a great example of how the brand comes to life, I would say.
Yeah, and what it works is it's a real story. We don't do brand content, or we don't want to invent story. Just share. That's very unique and very simple, and we just share what's going on. So, and as life is amazing, we always live amazing things in our everyday life. So come up and pop up to the banana farm in Brooklyn.
So one thing that I know folks are curious about is your supply chain. So you mentioned that you had a series of manufacturers, co-packers in Europe.
Yeah.
How many?
It's changing every day, but as far as I understood, it's like 16 now.
Okay. And right now, those...
So we do a lot of dairy. In France, we're very famous for dairy, dessert, like we have an amazing chocolate mousse. Chocolate mousse is amazing because here you can find and have the chocolate mousse in mainly every restaurant. But if you want to buy a chocolate mousse in the supermarket, it's just impossible. Just impossible. So, and as in France, it's our best product. we're selling like huge tons of chocolate mousse. Maybe we brought one here. Can bring one here one day.
So the question is, with your network of manufacturers in Europe, how are you using that to get product to the US, and do you plan to manufacture product here?
It's very simple. You know, we use a boat, we ship our cookies every week. It's taking a week to come here, so it's not a big deal. And when you go to a supermarket down your house, I think like 50% of the product you're buying are coming from all around the world. So it's very simple, and as we have a specific know-how, I don't think we're going to manufacture here, except if the business is doing supersonic. So we don't have dogma of where we produce. We have a dogma of the French pastry know-how. I'm actually also a pastry chef and a baker. So we want to invent all the recipe, and everything is done internally. The selection of the quality and the ingredients, everything is sourced internally. But maybe you can one day come back here, but no emergency. Things are doing very well like that.
So I want to shift gears and talk about, you know, how you came to the US. So
By
as you
plane I can.
You didn't come by boat?
I wish I can.
But, you know, Augustin mentioned he's got 5 children. So maybe just tell us a bit about how you made the decision to move to the US, bring your family, tell us about the ages of your children, and how, you know, as a family you've been able to adjust here.
Living here was one of my dreams, to come to the US, so it was a very simple decision for me and for my wife and for the kids, but I waited like for 20 years before having the opportunity to come here and to live here. One of my sisters lived here since 15 years, and she became American now citizen with her family. So I knew pretty well the place, but between thinking, knowing the place, and really living here, it's a big difference. So I always take this real anecdote of my Uber driver who told me, "Hey, where do you come from?" "I'm coming from France." "Where from?" "I'm coming from Paris." "Ah, you're a refugee." So, and it was true. True. So for me, I understood that France for American people is somewhere near Syria or Iraq, I don't know. But I think it's just, I think it's true. I think it's true that when you come to the US, you come with your energy, talents, but what you've done before is completely irrelevant. Exactly, if I'm taking the example, if you're living in Paris and I have 2 guys coming from Albania and Tirana, say, "I'm the king of cookies in Tirana," it's like, "Okay, don't give a shit about Tirana, you know, and Albania." So I think here you have to redo everything from zero. And what is amazing for me is also to see how American people are nice and very welcoming foreigners. But of course, they're ultra dominant. You know better than I do, but of course it's a state, it's a country continent. And what I'm amazed also in New York, so I have this expression that American people don't like, but I think it's a very true words that New York for me is a rich third world city. It's amazing to see the city how it's rich, but it's completely. Regarding the infrastructure, it's a third world city on many aspects. And I like a lot this opposite between being also very rich but very catastrophe in other ways. But I think it's a very great city. But living with the kids here, it's also I'm living down Park Slopes. It's a very good location for the kids. And the kids love it here, and they're going to public school. 3 of them are going to public school. One of my daughters is handicapped, and she's got Down syndrome, and she's been very well welcoming by the community. So I really love the experience, but I think I'll be back also one day in France, because France is doing so bad that I want to initiate the next French Revolution. And I think it's true that the new revolution is underway in France. So I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen for sure, and I want to be there when it's going to happen. Maybe I'll run for president. Yeah, I think I well, if Emmanuel Macron is running,
Yes.
the spot for him, he's gonna run, for sure. So I hope he's gonna be elected, and if you're French, please elect Emmanuel Macron. He's a young leader. He didn't do the program, but he's a young leader.
At heart.
Okay, so buy cookies, huh? Most
I'm not done, So-
Sorry,
Yeah.
but we do a commercial, and we do an ad.
So, tell us, what are some of the struggles that you found launching a business in the US, and how are they different than launching a business in France?
But here, what is, but it's like common sense, but here when you think it's done, I remember the meeting I had in December with the Wegmans, you know, the supermarket chain, like Upper State, I thought it was done. Saying, well, amazing cookies, we're starting for sure, blah, blah, blah. And I've never had any news from the guy. So here, when you think it's done,
It's not done.
it's not done. So that's just taking a lot of, even here, it's taking a lot of time, and it's, and yeah, it just, I never heard any American making critics about what we're doing. So it's just like the warm welcome and thing, you think you are outstanding and supersonic, but in fact, it's not the case. So just having the intelligence to decrypt really the feeling of the people and what are their thoughts. So for me, it's not a big difference, but just to read the reaction of people in a different way. So just taking time, but when you do things wrong, it's doing well.
And how is that, how has it been hiring employees here? So has that been a challenge for you?
Yes, yeah, it's a big challenge also to employ American people because we look for people passionate about life and the pastry know-how and between for entrepreneur spirit and our specific project, and we don't look people passionate for money. So that's the issue. So I don't give a shit about money. I'm not interested at all about money. I think money is. I'm not paying attention at all about money. So here, people are really sometimes passionate about money. So for us, it's a big challenge just to. So I'm spending 50% of my time just seeing candidates, just for doing my personal network in the food industry, and just so we hired our second 100% pure American, so no French Americans, blah blah blah. And Eric is a VP sales for Great in New York, and I think he's really passionate about the pastry know-how and the adventure. So how it's going to work? He started 2 weeks ago, but we'll see. So no passion about money, but about life.
And how has the Young Leaders Program helped you if at all?
I think it was a life-changing experience.
No, I mean with launching your
It's
business.
many new, Emma, was a
I know.
life-changing experience. And before it was dark, and now it's very clear.
Bravo.
I didn't change my life, but I had a lot of fun when I've done the program in France, and I have a youth network now. And I have a lot of friends who did the program. So, but here, as far as now, I met you, and I met also Jeff Shu, who's like a writer and a journalist. So we didn't, we are very bad in PR as far as now here in New York. So I think it's going to help us to break a little bit more the PR aspect.
Looks good.
Yeah, thanks Emma for your time. Emma is one of my guru now.
So, does anyone have any questions? Anything that anyone wants to learn more about?
I do. So I have 2 questions. The first one being, why cookies in such a saturated market in Paris and in New York? So why did you go with cookies in your pastry network?
I think was a very bad decision we made. I think we will launch something more digital or more, but actually, I think was a very, as we always do what we like and we do our passion. So we were passionate, we don't do business or we don't do because we can make money. We were passionate about bread and after cookies and say, okay, I'm going to bring innovation in the cookies area. So we bring innovation by the branding, by the quality of the ingredient, by the shape, by the packaging, by everything, by the technology also we use. So it was a bad decision because it's an awful sector, no growth, no innovation, giants spending millions of money on TV ad, but at least we did it. We did it well, and we'll announce soon something very, very good for us. As we are French, we're gonna push the brand all around the world, and it was a dream 11 years ago, and I think it's gonna be true at the next year with what we're gonna announce in the few weeks.
And can you
So-
talk about I know you mentioned the chocolate mousse, but I know you're in drinkable yogurts and juice.
Yeah, we have HPP, a lot of HPP juice in France and now in Europe. We also have chocolate mousse, we also have drinking yogurt. So as we want to do things simple at the beginning, we just launched the cookies business here in the US at the beginning. We can ship it by boat and it's easy. And we're looking maybe to go back or even to build our own factory with our partner for France here in the US for chocolate mousse. So chocolate mousse could be something huge here because it's more innovative than just cookies. But it's just taking time, so we want to do it well for cookies, doing good growth and good business. We're launching also crackers for the summer, 1st of July. And after, when the fundamentals are good, we'll launch maybe the chocolate mousse and drinking
You use food brokers to sell your product into stores, or how do you market your product directly?
We go door to door, and after we have a distributor network who take the order and do the delivery. But we're doing, we're like 5 now distributors for the New York area.
But you're not in retail itself?
Now, we don't have our own shop.
Okay.
No, not now. We have a concept, but we do not execute it yet.
No, but is the question, are they in grocery stores?
I was wondering, is he gonna market traditionally in through Grand Surface in France or big supermarkets here? Walmart or?
One more now,
Amazon?
here we're working with Fairway, Grace Tweedies, with Martin Williams, with Mrs. Green, with Essential Market, shows, Shop and Ride, Stop and Shop,
Okay, no, just.
OTG Airport, so we don't sell on any other banana farm. The stores also, 7,000. It's Gelson, we were yesterday at Gelson, LA, so we're gonna open Gelson. So it's only premium, and actually it's
So
natural.
are you nationally now in the States?
No, we don't want to. We never talk about national. We talk only on cities.
States,
We want to do first New York. New York's 8 million people. Brooklyn is 2.5 times the size of Paris. So we want to do very well New York, everywhere. And when we did it well, we can move forward.
Okay, that's good. Good plan.
So
Yeah.
You did your 1 million cookies for 1 million friends campaign.
Yeah.
What is gonna be your next big social media PR?
Well, I don't think it's a big thing. We had an overstock, so we had overstock for Starbucks. So we just had this year, and it's working pretty well, actually. It's doing well. And after the next one will be like a supersonic ambassador thing for New York. So we're gonna hire some supersonic ambassador in each borough of New York City with like a kind of a training program and something pretty funny. Bring them to France a lot for training also. So you can apply to be a supersonic ambassador if you want.
Love to.
Yeah.
Where does this name supersonic come from?
Coming from the sky. Yeah, banana, stratospheric, or whatever you want. Yeah.
How did you end up in Camp in Vermont? And I'll explain why I ask. I'm just curious about how you ended up in Camp in Vermont as a kid and how that influenced who you are as a person, like how you see things. Because I'm a professor and I teach a class called Cross-Cultural Concepts. And my constant refrain with the students, the American students, is just because you have neighbors doesn't mean you know them. Proximity doesn't equate friendship. Just because you have colleagues doesn't mean you go grab drinks at the end of the day. The people with whom you work are not necessarily your friends. And yet in hearing your wonderful description of how you choose employees, I hear something very different. and much more American in my mind than French. So that's why I'm curious about your time in Vermont as a.
Well, actually, in my time in Vermont was, I love being here in the US for my summer time, but who I am is for my education of my parents and for the school I went to. And I think we are, and my parents educated, we are also at five, I have one brother and three sisters. And my parents always educated us, helping us to take our own decision very, very young. So they were very cool and always helped us to make by ourselves, even when we were really young, our own decision regarding all the activity, the school we were going, and our, life. I really think that everybody's got exceptional talents, but you have to identify them, and I think you can identify them when you vary the experience. So don't do a job because you have to do it, just vary a different experience to understand who you are. In life, people just don't know who they are. And I'm so amazed to see, like, even adults, they just don't know who they are. And by, I think, all our personal and professional experience, I know exactly who I am, I know my talents, and I know what is the good ecosystem to express and to reveal my talents. So I think it's a key issue to deeply understand who you are and how you work yourself. And I feel life, for me, it's just a question of what are you here for? No, seriously, what are you here for on Earth? What's your mission? What's your personal mission on Earth? And for me, just in a way, trying to make people around me happy. So my wife, my kids, my friends, my family, the people I'm working with. So how can you create an ecosystem, personally and professionally, where people can really be happy and express their talents, and know where to waste our time, and a way to really have a deep pleasure in your everyday life. Something also I learned is you don't choose everything in your life, but you always choose the way you live things. And one of my gurus that you know here after Ben and Jerry is Tony Robbins, because I'm a fire walker, and I did the show, and I work barefoot on fire, and nothing happened, because when you start something mentally, you can do it easily.